My name's Michelle Van Every, and I moved back to the territory in 2010 and attended the ceremonies regularly, helped with this garden, planting, and learning like what the seeds all mean to, for our ceremonies, for us. That's what I really like about everything is just the ceremonies. It's really, and learning why we do it. I grew up on the Cayuga Nation territory. I was born and raised over there. My mom's Cayuga and my dad's Seneca. So I knew a little bit about like what the Senecas, like how they ran things. But when I came out here, it was like a whole it's kind of similar. Like I've noticed like every nation they have some similarity to what the ceremonies, but everybody has their unique style and their unique way of doing things. And like being a woman, and like we're the ones that have to plant, and we have to make sure that our kids get out there and feel the dirt and learn how to do all of that, because they're so close to the creator that it's like you want almost them to plant everything because everything will just grow. I mean, look at that corn. That's what most of the kids, they planted all that. Other grandson, he was born right on the land. She gave birth at home, and that's the way, to me, I'm like, that's how we're reclaiming this land. He has birthright. This is the way it should be. And he was the first one to be born in over 200 years on the territory. So that was like a big thing for everybody here. We were like, oh my God. It was very like spiritual and very... I don't know, I can't even explain it, the feeling that it was, and I was just happy that like, wow, all the ancestors were around you and they helped you through all of that and helped you give birth, and he's here, and that's how his name was chosen, because we all have our Ungwahole names, and that's how the Creator knows us. I guess being a woman too, like we take most of the charge, for our men. Like if something was to happen, the women are the ones that come together, and they would be the ones to basically make almost all the decisions, and pass that on to the men, to the chiefs, and the chiefs would carry that out. But first they would all meet too, because we all have clans and we all have a system. So, but I know our clan's the biggest.
I was put on this earth in 1952. I grew up in a different part of the world. Well, not really a different part of the world. I grew up in the Cayuga Nation, which is another one of the Haudenosaunee people. And so I didn't know anything about anything that was going on in the outside world except what happened where I was growing up at. Yeah, we kind of grew up with knowing what the plants and what plants were when, and when, like the apples were right, when the cherries are right, when the blueberries are good, when the raspberries. So as a child, I grew up as a part of this Just stuff. And then I was taken away, and I grew up, and that's where I learned how to be assimilated, I guess would be the word. I learned to be a racist. I learned to be a bigot. I learned to be all those negative things that people thought were funny at the time. And now it's becoming really serious. And so, and then I found out in 2005 that I was told by my grandmother that I'm going to be next for the title of the chief of the sachem. And so it's been a learning experience since 2005 on being a chief for one thing, and then knowing where we came from, knowing where the Gayogo people came from, learning the history, learning the language. So when we came here in 2014, that was one of the main things that I thought needed to be here, was to find somebody that could teach us the language. Because I, like I said, I grew up Seneca, so I understand Seneca more. I can't really speak it that well anymore, but I wanted to learn Cayuga. I wanted to learn.
Oh yeah, that's what helps. Like for instance, right now with our garden, we give a lot of thanks for that, and we thank the Creator for giving us this, and then He hears our prayers because we got this. This is how it's coming, and if we didn't do it, it's just like how would we eat? How would we give thanks? And it was really interesting when I first started in the class and learning, and I was like, wow, this is really, it's a lot. It really is a lot. It's hard being Indian. It is. There's a lot of prepping for it, and how we're learning the responsibilities of like what the women do, and the responsibilities of what the men do, and how we work together, and how the clans all work together. You have your bird clans, you have your animal clans, and how every ceremony it's like it flips. So it's really neat. It's really interesting, and He hears our prayers because everything's here. Especially like strawberries. Strawberries are our main our main thing, and plus the corn. How that came down. Corn didn't even want to be here, but they made a deal, and now he's here. Now they're here to help us. That's why we like corn to me now is just like, it's like heavenly. It comes from the heavens. And they're here to help us. So we give a lot of thanks for that. A lot of thanks for the beans. Even when we dance, there's a certain way we dance, and that represents like the way the beans grow, the way the squash grows, the way the corn, the strawberries. It's a lot. Yeah, I'm a turtle clan, and like the birds, there's hawks, there's herons, there's snipes, and I guess the story, the way that went was when the peacemaker and all that had come through here, and we decided that we needed to have these clans, and that's basically how our chiefs, how we pick them. The women watch the young kids, and they watch who takes the lead amongst the kids while they're playing. And if that kid is leading all the other kids, then we would be like, okay, let's raise him up. We would pick different kids, and we would raise them up to see if they'd be chiefs, within the clan. And every clan would do that. So then that would be your voice. That's how we, make decisions. That's, every clan, the people. They go back to the people. That's why we have a clan mother. She's like the superior of the whole clan. And she would come and talk to the people. She'll call a meeting, and everybody would sit and discuss, what was going on. Like, okay, the chiefs have this concern. What does the turtle clan decide? What does the snipe clan decide? And then they would discuss that, and they don't make any really big decisions or anything until they all come to one mind. They all have to agree on it. It can't be just like a 3-2 vote, or they all has to be together.
The basis of the way our sustenance continues on is the way we take care of the soil. You know, this whole garden here was done chemical free. We don't use any chemicals, no types of fertilizers or anything like that at all in this garden. It's just working the land, knowing what to plant, how to plant it, and how to rotate crops. Because certain things take away some of the nutrients in the soil, so we rotate crops. Like we had talked about, for example, this box here. We talked about last year of pulling everything out, putting fresh soil in, and planting something else in here. Because the tobacco grows, it takes a lot of stuff out of the nutrients out of the soil. But we decided just to let it go. You know, when we found out how well the tobacco seeds grow in this soil, the way it is, because they've been here before. I think the soil has a lot to do with it too. Yeah, because our ancestors had huge cornfields, peach tree orchards, and all that. You know, it wasn't just corn; it was everything else, with beans and squash and everything else, whatever they grew. And like I said, it's just regenerating or keeping the soil rich enough so that next planting season, you know, your crop will do well. And I think that's key. Nowadays, it's easier for people to, when they grow a crop, to use chemicals or whatever they might add into the soil, or spraying the plants to keep the bugs away, whatever. Maybe that's something they can think about using an alternative. We had a problem with bugs on our squash plants, and we just used dishwashing detergent and water and sprayed it down, and that kept the bugs away. Yeah, and I guess that's one way to make sure that we're not using harsh chemicals in the soil or on our plants. You know, that'll either one, harm the plant, or two, harm the people who are going to eat whatever is harvested. You know. I'm probably making a good guess about probably 50 or 60 people, just in our community. You know, we like to call it a community garden, which means that the Cayuga people here in this community are welcome to come in, you know, take whatever they need. You know, because we're not doing this just for certain people in this group; it's for the whole community. There are people who come from other nations to attend our ceremony, and kind of maybe like a thank you type gift, you know, give them some seeds, and they take it home with them, you know, to put in their garden, and you know, so they can enjoy, you know, what we have here.
Right now I'm putting a hair on my face.
Are you recording now? Okay.
Right now I'm just harvesting some potatoes, getting ready to kind of start waiting for the winter and kind of
Well, look at that blue thing over
putting the
there.
practicality of what we've been teaching in class, pretty
Like
much.
a plant.
Everything that we kind of grow here, we try to store for next generation, next ceremony. And we're just trying to keep a heads up on it. It's a lot of work, as you can see. We've got quite the garden ahead of us. One of the main students. I've been in the program probably about the longest, about 3 years running now.
Is this nothing?
Trying to help out the best I can, just because I've been here the longest. So I try to help out with speaking diacritics, as well as speech recitals with the other classmates as well. Try to just do my best I can in class. It's definitely important to have both, because that's your identity. It's who you are. Without that, you just walk around aimlessly, just trying to fit into this
So tiny one.
fast-paced society. You know? And with having language and culture and getting back to your true core values of what help you through everyday struggle and trials and tribulations, it's kind of a nice retrieval to kind of get back to the most basic things in life. Watch a seed grow from simple seed to flourishing fruit and vegetable now.
This is my second year with the garden, planting, going through the cycles and everything, and we were obviously doing a lot better than we did last year. Our beans they're just taking right off. I learned a lot about taking care of plants and the soil and everything that goes into, because a lot of what we do here, it's interesting to see it go from seed to seed all the way through, and then we use the seeds through the winter, for beans and everything, and we come back and we throw them back in there. And this is what, heritage seeds?
Yeah.
These are heritage seeds from last year. So it's really just an amazing experience to just see everything come back through again. We put the ceremonies through, and we that whole process is just it's really great, and the kids love it too. The kids love coming here and picking berries or beans or whatever else, and we can all just come and take advantage of everything that we planted for everyone. Throughout the year, we have about 13 ceremonies that we put through that help encourage, growth and sustainability of our people. We give thanks for our beans, or for our seeds that we have them before we put them in the grounds. There are other ways that we give thanks to various elements like the sun and the moon, the rain with our thunder dance in the spring. All that, just it's proof right here. Everything that we do, giving thanks, it really has an effect. And when we sing, when we're around the plants, that also, you can see where some people have sang, or maybe not, or they had a better mind, a mindset when they were planting, because anybody can plant, but it's in your mind to produce good things. You have a good mind, you produce good things.
Native tobacco we have, we don't use it for smoking particular anymore. Like every once in a while we will smoke, but that's our connection back to the Creator's land, is this tobacco. That's how our words travel. It's like it's our Wi-Fi,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's
our Wi-Fi signal.
Yeah, it's a strong signal. What I mean? So that's what that is. That's what that's for. And that's how our words travel. That is on the smoke of this tobacco, and that's why this tobacco is so very important to us.
So I'm learning more about how the people are not liking themselves. Is how I see it. By doing these things to Mother Earth. The guy down there who wants to have he's a big farmer, and he wants to have a big pool of cow manure so they can mix it up and spray it on their fields. But where it's going to be, if it breaks, it goes into the river, and the river goes into, how you say it, Taganic Falls. You guys say Taganic, I say Toughenuck. Toughenuck Falls. I try to get them to stop. I don't know if they did or not, but that's what's going on. People are not being aware of what they're doing. This threat of Monsanto wanting all the seeds, that's not right. They asked us for ours. I said, no, you can't have any of ours at all. No time, not here, not now, not ever. So trying to fight big time, and that's part of my job as a chief, as a sachem, is to protect the people from the outside, so that they don't. And I'm always thinking about those ones that aren't here yet. So now I'm hearing from different areas that some of the people are caring about their land. They want to give it back to us. They ask questions: how do I take care of it? Well, you don't allow polluting to happen. You don't allow bad chemicals in the air to come into your area. So you got to go around and talk to everybody around you. And we did that at the farm on the other side. There was a farmer who was spraying all the time, and finally I told the guy, our guy, why don't you go over there and tell him to stop? And tell him why. It's harming our part of the field. And he stopped, just that one side though. He didn't stop on the other side. See, that's the thing. They figure whoever is selling these chemicals are the ones that's making the money. So it's a big circle, vicious circle. Hoping it'll stop pretty soon because Mother Nature's not going to like what's going on. There are some natural laws also that have to be taken taken into concern. What we're doing here is we're trying to stop that. We're trying to let people know, okay, we're going to have corn this year, we're going to have corn next year, and the following year. We're going to keep getting bigger and bigger. This is what we do because we want to be able to get through the whole year without having to go to tops. Elders way back when Sullivan campaign came along heard about this destroying coming along, so they took off to Fort Niagara, I believe it was, Buffalo Creek over that way, and they took the language and the culture with them, the old language and the old culture with them, and that someday, wherever they end up at, someday it would come back to the original territory, and that's where it is today. It feels, sometimes I cry about it. We did a few ceremonies for the ones that were here before because we were told that's what we need to do. Let them know we're here, that we'll take care of them. And the rest of the ceremonies we've been doing for now, this is going on our third year.
Like, we're never going to forget what happened, but our biggest thing is we try not to dwell on that because of, we're forward. We're forward. We're always thinking forward, right? Thinking about next year. And I think that, like, especially here, this is why I think that this group has got so much drive for this garden is because of what had happened to us. What had happened, and we view ourselves as survivors. That's what we are. That's what we call ourselves. We call ourselves Gayogo. That's what we say in Cayuga language, that we're survivors.
A long time ago, we had this treaty called the Two-Row Wampum, called the Gaswinta. On that Two-Row Wampum treaty, it says there's white, there's purple, there's white, and there's purple. Well, the two purple ones are your ship and my canoe going down the river of life together, side by side. We don't come into your ship and tell you what to do. You don't come into our canoe and tell us what to do. That's how this thing is supposed to go. Well, he's jumped into your ship, now he's telling you what to do. He's become you, and now he wants us to become you. It's like, what's he doing? Was it another assimilation from our own people? That's wrong. That's just plain wrong. We go.
had this big conflict going on within the nation, and it's like we have one side that would rather go, I guess, you would say like colonized. They're more into, I guess mocking the U.S. government like that way, whereas people here are like more traditional and we want this, we want to show our kids this, we want to give thanks, we want to have ceremonies, we want to learn our language, because that was stripped from us, and we can't, it's not our fault either. It's not our fault that, and it's not their fault that that's how they are. It's because we had gone through all these residential schools, and now this is like the product of, residential schools. But they didn't take everything away from us. They didn't, because if they did, we wouldn't know how to do ceremony. We wouldn't know how the importance of all of this. So it's like, we still win. That's how we look at it.
We're not profit driven. By no means. Like, it's nothing. We're about. We have this word, we call it onhe. What that is, it's life. It's life, and that's what we call food. That's our name for food is kyonheko. That word onhe is in there, right? So that's what the outside needs to do too. They need to care about onhe, about life, about in a good way. You know what I mean? That it's not profit driven by no means, but we need to be. The time is now. The time is now for things to happen. I don't know if the way we do things. I don't think it would work out there, but I think it would be if we just took some of our policies and things like that. Some of it, like just right there, that's how we're always thinking about down the road, like any decisions that our people make, we're supposed to think that we think ahead, So I think that probably just right there, that could be one thing that maybe the outside world could start thinking a little bit different, is start thinking about the generations to come, right? And because as of right now, they don't think about those generations. They're thinking about now, today, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, but it's all about right now. They need to care. You have to care. You know what I mean? Like there has to be this connection, and that's what we've done with this garden is we've used it as a way to reconnect. Because a lot of our own people, we weren't connected no more. That connection wasn't there no more. So and that's the way that we kind of made sure this connection happens again. Just, get right in there, get right in the dirt, get right in there, do it. You know what I mean? And they need to care about one another, care about your neighbors, make this place a better place, and that's how we do it. Is we need to care about one another, and because once we start to care about one another, then we care about the environment that we live in too, right?
Well, I like to think, personally, I like to think that what is here, mankind should preserve for future generations, because that's something that we believe in. What we're doing here today is not just for us to. That's also to hopefully have it here for our children's children and our children's grandchildren and their children.
My lifetime? Well, I'd like to see all of our reservation land, at least around the lake, being given back to us.
I'm hoping I focus more on my focus, and the women over here are more focused on the kids. It's not about us, it's about all of them. And making a future for them with their language, their culture, you know, this land, learning how to respect the land and keep the land the way, you know, it was supposed to be. So that's the big thing, you know, as long as they keep their language and they keep who they are, you know, I mean, because to me, it's almost like one day the USA could come to you and say, like, can you speak your language? Can you do your ceremonies? Because if you can't do that, then you're just one of us. You know, you're not Indian. You're just one of us. You know, but if we can keep our speakers and all of them going, and that's really, I don't know, it's just amazing. I love it. I love that the kids are learning. They know more than me.
I know that the Cayuga people are going to be here, no matter what happens. We're going to be here. I'm going to be here. I know it's going to take time for everything to get settled down and to get, you know, where it needs to be. But it'll get there. We ain't going nowhere.
Well, that's taking part in something that I thought was going to go extinct not too long ago. I heard a while ago, actually, a long time ago, that the Cayuga population was actually kind of dwindling out. And once I heard that the speaking ability was just as bad, I wanted to kind of do my part to kind of bring that up and keep it ongoing. And as far as the garden here, I think it's done a great thing to bring this community together to show the importance of what it means to be a community. You know, the unseen values of this working together, trustworthiness, and all that. All comes unspoken when you come here and you put your work in pretty much. And I think it's the greatest thing that probably has happened to this community.
It's great.
And just to be a part of it's an honor.